What is going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Knowledge. Today we're going to be talking about the difference between a 3K a month notary and a 10K a month notary. So if you're in one box and you're trying to find a way to get to the next box, which is 3K to 10K, watch this video. After being in the notary business for going on 10 years, making millions in the notary industry, and then making 10K plus a day in the notary business, I think that I'm more than qualified to show you this stuff. So I want to really break it down for you guys so you can understand. If you want to see more proof about all my claims, go ahead and click the link in the bio so you can see it. There's a free training there where you can see where I break down real numbers and I walk through the process step by step so you can see everything for yourself. But anyways, moving on to the video, the difference between a 3K a month notary and a 10K a month notary. What is it, right? And I was in one and I got to the other, and these are the changes that I made. And don't take any of this personally, guys. This is more so just to help you understand. So if it is you, just understand where you stand and how you can get to the next level, right? That's what you need to be understanding. So first things first, a 3K a month notary is the one that's waiting for calls. So how that looks like, you're sitting around, you're waiting for some calls. Maybe you're waiting for a signing service to send you some business. And you're like, man, these signing services never send business. So you sign up for another one and another one and another one and another one. And then every now and then you'll get a call, just enough to give you some hope. Like, okay, this is working. And then you won't get a call for a couple of days or maybe a week. And then you'll get another call. You're like, yes, okay, it's working. And then you won't get another call. That's what it looks like for a 3K a month notary, right? So there's a lot of inconsistency in it. You'll feel inconsistent. You'll feel like, and this might be even for somebody that's not even making 1K, but it's just a lot of waiting. It's a lot of being reactive and not being proactive. But on the other hand, when it comes to a 10K a month notary, they're building, what they do is they build demand before they need it. So they're understanding how to get these clients for themselves, how to bring in consistent clientele without having to rely on the signing services or rely on referrals or word of mouth or people in their family to help them out. They're not having to rely and wait on things like this. They're going out and getting it. So one is being reactive, which is the 3K a month notary, and one is being proactive, which is the 10K a month notary. And that's what you need to do. You need to be more on the proactive side. Like, what can I do to get more clients? What can I do to get more clients? That's how you need to be thinking about things. So that's to break that down to you. Next up, the 3K a month notary, they're the ones that's just taking all these random jobs, right? This is you right here. You just taking random jobs. As soon as they come in, you're like, it's money. I'm going to take it. But what you do is you're burning yourself out, and then you're also having to pay. You're having to charge so little, right? You're having to charge so little in your notary business because you're just desperate to get some clients in, but that energy just goes out there in the world, right? You're bringing in whatever you can get, and it's really like the bottom tier clients, which means like, and when I say that, I mean the ones that just give you the most headaches, the peanut clients, like I usually say. But on the other hand, you have the 10K a month notaries where they're the ones that protect their schedules and they filter out low value work. So, for example, when I say that they're filling out the low value work, these are more so the notaries that are like, okay, cool, I'm not working with this person because I don't want to work with this individual, right? They're the ones that don't want to work with certain individuals because they want to only deal with the top most aligned with them type of clients. So the ones that are going to pay the money, the goals clients that I used to talk about, the ones that are going to pay the money and the ones that are going to not stress about having payment. Like, those are the ones that they focus on. They're filtering out anybody that's just wasting their time or just really just filling up their calendar just to BS them. You don't want to focus on that. Next one is the 3K a month notary. They're focusing on price, right? They always try to compete on price. And what my coach told me way in the beginning, with any business that you're in, you don't want to be the person that's fighting for price because it's kind of like a race to the bottom, right? You're always trying to see, all right, who can be the cheapest? Who can be the cheapest client? Who can offer the cheapest service? You don't want to do that. Why would you try to be the cheapest service? Because now in order to win, you got to be cheaper than the other guy. So then it just becomes a race to the bottom. So the 3K a month notary, they're competing on the price, while the 10K a month notary knows that there's better ways to make money. So they compete on speed, trust, and convenience. They know that being convenient is worth more than being fast. And what happens is when you focus on speed, trust, and convenience rather than price, you're bringing in a higher quality of client, the gold clients, the ones that just they'll pay you whatever you want. Here you go, take the money. They'll just give you the money, and they're just saying like, hey, just get it done fast, get it done correctly. Those are the differences. That's kind of like the mindset shift, right? With 3K a month notary, you're kind of like thinking like employee. You're thinking like paycheck to paycheck, But in entrepreneurship terms, you're thinking more so job to job, right? You're thinking like, okay, cool. I'm just going to as soon as one job comes in, I'm trying to wait for my next job. So you're kind of leaving job to job. While on the other hand, the 10K a month notary is thinking about the lifetime value of a client. How can I get this client to come back? They're not thinking like, okay, once this job is done, I need to work for the next client. It's like, okay, how do I keep making sure that I have a client coming back? How do I make sure that this client becomes a repeat client? Because when you're working job to job, it's kind of like you're a shark always looking for the next fish. Like, okay, I just need to find the next fish. And once you eat it, you got to find the next one. Then you got to find the next one. Then you got to find the next one. Rather than being like a 10K a month notary that was like, okay, cool. I got this one fish. How can I make this fish make more fish? So for example, it's like one is like going out there in the world and being like, okay, cool. I'm gonna focus on job for job for job, while the other is like, okay, I want to squeeze out as much as I can from this orange. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you another example. It's like, for example, I'm going to use a very silly example, but it's like toothpaste. When you use your toothpaste, it's like you use the entire tube of toothpaste really quickly. But when it gets down to the very end, you squeeze out every little drop. So the 3K a month notary, they're just using up the whole tube and throwing it away. While the 10K a month notary, they're squeezing out every little thing that they can from that tube of toothpaste, and it just lasts longer. It has a better lifetime value because you're utilizing it to the best, to your best ability. And that's what it's like with clients too. It's just like, okay, how can I get as much as I can from this client by providing the service that they want and giving them a good experience, rather than just saying, I'm just gonna give them the service and then move on to the next person. That's how you have to think about it. Like, provide more value. That's how you really make money. The 3K a month notary, they have really loose systems when it comes to everything. So they're the ones that's kind of like answering the phone differently every time they answer the phone. And they don't really seem like a new business. They kind of more so feel like a side hustle than a real business. And if it feels like a side hustle rather than a real business to you, that means you're doing something wrong. Because on the other hand, the 10K a month notary, as you can see here, they track leads, payments, reviews, follow-ups. They're on top of things, right? So it's kind of like, I've given this example before. It's kind of like going to Chipotle, and every time you go to Chipotle, you ask for the same things: white rice, black beans, chicken. If every time you went to Chipotle and you got the same thing, if it tasted differently every single time you came, sometimes you like it, sometimes you hate it, sometimes it's disgusting, sometimes it's good, sometimes you hate it. If every time you go, it's a completely different taste, you're going to want to go somewhere else that has that's more consistent. Maybe you're going to go to McDonald's because every time you get a McChicken, it tastes the same exact way. It's kind of the same thing in business. Instead of when somebody comes to you, they want to have that same process and understand and feel comfortable that you're going to do things the same way every time. If you have a loose system, sometimes you answer the phone calls like this, sometimes you answer it on time, sometimes you email them on time. So you're all over the place. But when you have a nice, repeatable system, clients know what they're going to get from you. They know what your brand is and how you move, and they want to come back to you. But your system needs to include different things like your reviews, your follow-ups. Everything needs to be done and built out for your system so that way everything is going smoothly. Next up, the 3K a month notary. To be honest, even though they make less, they're actually working harder. Because like I said, they kind of work as, they're more so working kind of like paycheck to paycheck. Kind of like how somebody works paycheck to paycheck in the sense that they're busting their butt going to all these appointments. They're dealing with the low-paying clients. It's just more so stressful. Like, they're having to deal with all the stressful things because they don't have a system. So everything is being done on their own accord. But on the other hand, the 10K a month notary, they make every appointment worth it, one. And then the type of clientele that they're just dealing with, it's just a better type of clientele. They're just less stressful. They're less of a headache. You're not having to stress over like, oh man, I don't want to deal with this client because they're annoying. So you're actually working harder as a 3K a month notary. Next up, the 3K a month notary also is the type of person that's hoping for consistency, right? They don't actually have consistency in their business. And this is something I always see when I'm going on the calls. You don't have any type of consistency, right? You get calls here and there, which comes from a client acquisition problem, which comes from you not understanding how to get more clients, which comes from you not putting in that time, but you have no consistency. But on the other hand, the 10K a month notary, they understand and they took the time to build a pipeline so that they're always having business come in. They always have business come in. So they're not worrying about, oh, where's the next client going to come from? It's more so, okay, I have a system that brings in clients. How do I make this on repeat? So that's the biggest difference. The 3K a month and the 10K a month. When you look at these, understand that it's more like a mindset. It's kind of like a mindset shift that's really going to take you to the next level. And you have to think like, okay, if I think like this, what am I supposed to be thinking like? So this is a good image for you guys to screenshot and look at this and be like, okay, cool. I'm right here. So instead of waiting for calls, I need to build demand before they need it. Use this as kind of like a framework. Okay, instead of working harder, I need to make every appointment worth it more. You can really look at this, and whichever one you land on, look at the one right across from it and be like, okay, I need to switch my mindset to this now and start thinking about things like this. So I learned a lot of this stuff from books. To be honest with you, I learned a lot of these tactics from books and through trial and error. So if you're not the type to read, at least implement what you're seeing here, because it will level you up. And I really want to see you guys do good. I really want to see you guys do good and come back to me and be like, hey, Knowledge, oh my God, this thing worked, bro. This thing worked. I would love to hear that. So anything, this is the big pictures. Hopefully this helped you out. And I know that this can take you to the next level if you do it. But if you're one of those notaries out there that wants to make 5K to 10K a month, or you just want to build a real notary business, what you can do is click on the link down below. That's going to have a free training. And I'm not talking about just like the type of person that just wants random jobs. You got to understand that this is about building the right system. And in the training below, I'm going to show you the system that I built. I'm going to break it down to you, show you how it works, and I'm going to pull up numbers live so you can see it for yourself. So go ahead and click on that link down below. I'd love to see you guys make some progress, and make sure to stay blessed, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Your boy Knowledge is out.